By the time I was 11, my father passed, and he was a strong, person in our home that kind of kept our family safe, and my brothers were kind of doing some crazy stuff, drugs, alcohol, things like that. A lot of violence I saw growing up, things of that nature. And so when he passed, it felt like we were kind of left vulnerable in some different ways. And so my mom ended up getting remarried, and things didn't like the stepdad. That kind of is a common situation that can happen. But ended up getting into a lot of trouble eventually, selling drugs from 14 to 18. And so one day some friends came over and said, "Hey, at this time of year in that 1995, at that time, it was during a drought season. And, in the drug world, that means there's, for whatever reason, there may be some shortfalls in supply when it comes to product." And so knowing that, I was a very unwise 18-year-old. So as fast as I made money, I spent it. And my friends knew that. So they knew I also had a gun. So they asked me if I wanted to come with them to commit some armed robberies. And I was like, sure. I was a young person that was very, at that time, confused, angry, no direction. The mentors I had in my life were guys that were showing me how to weigh drugs out and distribute them in a way that would earn a profit for both me and them. So I always tell people there's mentors out there on both sides. There's mentors that will grab a hold of our young people if we don't do it first, that are not going to lead them in the right direction. So anyway, I remember, you know, they came over and they were going to commit these armed robberies, and we ended up going from house to house that day throughout the week after they came to the house and invited me to come along with them that day. And so at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we said we're going to hit one last house, and I knew something was off. I just knew something in my gut, in my heart was off, but I did not want to look weak in front of my friends.